I'm delighted to be joined by Professor Tony Lewis, Principal Investigator at MARI, otherwise known as the father of ocean energy. How are you, Tony?
I'm great. I think a little bit tired, but we can see the final furlong now. We're nearly at the end of the process. We've had great help from everybody else, so I'm being supported very well.
Brilliant. You and your team here at MARI have been busy organising the upcoming UTEC conference, which will be held here in UCC between August 27th and September 1st. How are preparations coming along?
Well, it's great to have these facilities here in UCC to be able to host this scale of a conference. We have the facilities in use the whole week with the Glucksman Gallery for a reception at the beginning. We have the lecture theatres for the presentations, the De Vere Hall for our exhibition. And then we've had to leave the university for the fantastic banquet we're going to have in City Hall on Wednesday. So all the facilities are here and we're using them to the maximum.
This will be the 12th staging of the UTEC conference and the second time it will be held here in UCC. How big an event is it going to be?
Well, this year is the biggest ever. We have only over 360 papers in the proceedings. There are 78 presentations, sessions that we have over the 4.5 days. And even with all these, we still have to have 30 people present their work as posters. We've over 400 delegates registered to date. And we expect more by the end of the closing in the 18th of August. And there is also an industry exhibition with a number of local companies.
The abstracts have been submitted and the schedule laid out. What themes have emerged and what can the attendees look forward to most?
Well, I mean, there are 78 sessions, as I mentioned, for presentation, and there is a predominance really related to wave energy development and the innovative research associated with that. This is probably to be expected because tidal energy is a little bit more developed, so maybe less research focus there at the present time, and they're much closer to market, of course. But there are other nice, interesting themes. Linking this to the power grid, power takeoff systems is important. Environmental issues are becoming more important. Economics of the whole systems are important. And then the operations and maintenance of the devices when they get at sea. So all of those themes will be covered in the conference.
Not only is the conference a vehicle for academics to share their research, but it provides attendees with a perfect forum for knowledge transfer. How important is that for marine renewable industry as a whole?
Well, the conference has many papers which describe the experience of industry in the development of systems for harnessing this large renewable energy resource in the waves and the tidal energy. The cutting edge research which is being presented then affords the industry the opportunity to meet the young people, to see the innovations coming out and see what the future of the industry can hold.
Given the economic, political and social environment in which we now live, there seems to be a great deal of momentum behind efforts to promote marine renewable energy. Within that context, conferences such as this take on a higher importance. As someone who's been involved in the industry for the best part of 40 years, this must be an extremely exciting time.
I think it's very much an exciting time now because we are really seeing a political will to developing renewable energy resources at last. This has fully been reinforced by the Paris conference, the Paris Agreement, COP21, and even though the US have withdrawn from that, there is still a large momentum in America to develop marine renewable energy. They still see this, as does everybody else, I think, as an opportunity to ensure the security of energy supply, create jobs, deliver clean environment for everybody into the future. So I think there will be a need to develop all forms of renewable energy, not only wind and solar, but also a large amount of marine energy as well, and we will make a contribution to the overall energy budget. Ocean Energy Europe and the European Commission have set a target of 50 gigawatts, that's 50,000 megawatts of electricity from marine resources by 2050. Just in context, Ireland has about 5 gigawatts total electricity supply. So it's a really incredible market coming forward.
This is the second time the UTEC conference has been staged here in Cork, placing Ireland at the forefront of research. Can we now become a world leader in the provision of marine renewable energy?
I think so very much. You're right, this is the second time that the conference was held in Cork. The first time was back in 2003. We had 80 delegates at that time. We've over 400 this time. We ended up with 110 at the end of the conference, even though we weren't expecting 80. You can see the momentum has built up, it's changed, the scale has increased. Ireland is the best resource anywhere on the planet, and we have main resources in wave energy, but we also have a resource in tidal energy as well. The research and development climate here is very, 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 very positive. It's outstanding with the infrastructure we have in the Lear National Ocean Test Facility with world-class laboratory infrastructure in Ringaskiddy. We have a Galway Bay test site, Smart Bay, offering quarter-scale test facilities at sea. And the AMETS test site in Balmullet, the Atlantic Marine Energy Test Site, is going to be available to give grid connection for full-size commercial devices. So we have the whole chain of facilities to allow people to develop. And then the research undertaken at the SFI-funded Centre Marai is producing world-class output in partnership with over 45 companies. So I think Ireland is very well placed to realise the outcome of this extremely exciting new industry.
Yeah, there are a number of renowned marine renewable firms located here in Ireland, with the SEAI supporting over 80 early-stage ocean energy projects since 2009. When might we see one of these projects deployed en masse off our shores?
Well, Ireland has a number of different companies working in the marine renewable energy space at different stages of development. In the wave energy area, Ocean Energy are in the process of constructing a pre-commercial 1 megawatt device at present deployed in the US and Scotland after successfully completing 3 years of testing in Galway Bay. Seapower have recently completed their first phase of testing in Galway Bay, and they're planning the next phase with an improved power takeoff system to be deployed later this year. A number of smaller companies then are also in the earlier stages of development in wave energy. Benson Engineering and Blue Power Energy have both received funding from international sources such as Wave Energy Scotland, and two other small companies, Pure Marine Gen and Limerick Wave, were finalists in the recent US Department of Energy Wave Energy Prize competition. So we do have a lot of companies working in the wave energy area. In the tidal energy, of course, we have the world leading company Open Hydro, and they're extremely far advanced. They're based in Greenore, and they're producing commercial devices now of 1 to 2 megawatts. They've been acquired by the French defense contractor and shipbuilding company DCNS, and they're supplying large turbines to projects in Canada and France. And they're in the process of building a large production factory in northern France, and have sold the first production machines to Electricité de France. There are also a number of smaller companies in the tidal energy area. G-Kinetic are testing a tidal turbine in the Limerick Dock towing facility, and Tidal Flyer are developing a novel aerofoil system based in Ireland as well. So overall, I would expect that we will see a large deployment of particularly wave energy in the future. In the immediate future, the question you asked, really, the ESB have a 5 megawatt project called Westwave, which they hope to realize in 2019 moving forward. And the tidal project for development is really off the coast of Northern Ireland, off the North Antrim coast at Fairhead. And DP Energy, a small Irish company based in Buttevant, County Cork, are developing that project here now. So we will see by the end of the 2020, I think, significant deployment of marine energy devices in Irish waters.
The potential is massive, and the benefits to the economy calculated to be in the region of €15 billion. What will it take for Ireland to take full advantage of our position on the western edge of Europe?
I think we are currently taking the right steps in a way, but it will need continued political support and the political will really to support the companies at early stage development in Ireland. Ireland is very vulnerable to disruptions in energy supply. We import over 90% of our energy, so anything we can do to develop indigenous resources are important. So the situation is, at the moment, the government is committed to an electricity tariff support for marine energy, 230 euros per megawatt hour for the first 20 megawatts. And I think if that is fulfilled, then that would encourage companies to move forward and deploy devices. And remember, the target is that we have 50 gigawatts to provide for Europe, and that means 40 devices every week from 2025 to 2050. And that's a lot of construction which will go ahead in Greenore and maybe in other places around Ireland. And then the support of the research is still there with this SFI Centre Marai, which is located here in Cork. So I think we're in a good place in Ireland to do that, and I think we will see that happening certainly from 2020 onwards.
Finally, and on a much lighter note, I see the UTech band will be formed over the course of the conference. Will you be taking centre stage yourself?
Well, fortunately, I recognise my limitations, so I will certainly enjoy the situation. We have a number of comrades in the wave energy industry and tidal energy industry. The camaraderie is very high, so a lot of very talented musicians, and they'll have an open mic session on the Monday night, which will allow people maybe to get to know each other in a more informal way and perhaps lead to future friendships and maybe collaborations leading on into the future.
Musical and academic.